As the ADA coordinator, knowing that I could be protected against COVID-19 was my number one reason for taking the vaccine. Protecting myself, my family, and other persons to whom I provide services to is my priority. So I'm encouraging everyone, especially those with disabilities, to step up and take your best shot against COVID-19 and take the vaccine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ty Hunt-Caesar, Infectious Disease Specialist and the Virgin Islands Department of Health's Medical Director. Many of you may be wondering how the COVID-19 vaccines work and why they are important. The Moderna and Pfizer vaccines we are offering in the Virgin Islands are about 95% effective at preventing severe disease or death. Here are some things you should know. Like all existing vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines are safe. They cannot give someone the infection because these mRNA vaccines do not contain the live virus that causes COVID-19. Despite how they sound, they do not affect or interact with your DNA in any way. The vaccine prepares your body in case you become infected. It teaches your immune system to make antibodies so that once it encounters the virus, it's ready to fight it off. These antibodies stay in your bloodstream ready to protect you in case the virus shows up. The vaccine helps to give you immunity against the virus, and if you get infected, you won't experience severe sickness or death. When enough of us get the COVID-19 vaccine, the virus will have nowhere to go. That will slow the spread in our community. This is what we refer to as herd immunity. That's how we will get closer to ending the pandemic. To learn more about the COVID-19 vaccines, please visit covid19usvi.com/vaccines.
Good afternoon. Stand by for the Governor of the Virgin Islands, Governor Albert Bryan Jr.
Here at home and abroad. Welcome to the Government House weekly press briefing on our COVID-19 update for the week of April 19, 2021. Joining me this afternoon is Health Commissioner Justa Encarnacion to provide the latest COVID-19 vaccination numbers and information on where Virgin Islanders can receive free COVID-19 testing in the territory this week. Sadly, since last week, we learned that we had lost yet another fellow Virgin Islander to COVID-19. We extend our sincere condolences to the family and look forward to the safe and speedy recovery of 3 individuals currently hospitalized at JFL. As of this morning, all were stable, but we all know with this deadly pandemic that things can turn rather quickly. Our latest Virgin Islander to succumb to COVID-19 is a stark reminder that this virus is still a threat to health and to the safety of our community. That is why we continue to urge everyone to take the vaccine and to continue to wear your mask, practice safe social distancing, and wash your hands. You don't have to go to that mass gathering. You can stay away and keep not only you, but your family safe. I pray to dear God that this will be the last Virgin Islander to lose their life to this awful pandemic. Giving us the numbers this afternoon, as I mentioned, is Commissioner Encarnacion, who will join us now. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. As of April 16, 2021, the Department of Health has tested a total of 94,697 persons under investigation or PUIs, of which 3,041 have tested positive and 91,656 tested negative. There are currently 51 active cases in the territory, 23 active cases on St. Croix, 27 active cases on St. Thomas, and 1 active case on St. John. 2,963 cases have recovered with 27 fatalities related to COVID-19. The Department of Health and our families also want to share our condolences for the last person that succumbed to COVID-19. We're happy to hear that St. Thomas has no hospitalizations, and we pray for those that are hospitalized in St. Croix, Wang Louis Hospital. Our epidemiology hotline remains open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. for callers to report suspected cases of COVID-19. In St. Croix, the number to call is 340-712-6299. St. Thomas, St. John, 340-776-1519. As our positive cases come in, our contact tracers continue their surveillance efforts to reduce the spread of the virus. And yes, we are seeing less new cases. However, 1 case is really and truly too many. We must still wear our mask, practice social distancing, stay home when sick, and wash our hands frequently. Most of all, we must use our best tool to fight the pandemic, and that is become vaccinated and encourage others to do so. The vaccine is accessible to anyone 16 years old and over. Getting vaccinated is simple and free, and I encourage everyone to take their best shot against COVID-19. Not only is our hotline open to report suspected cases, but we are hosting pop-up testing events this week. You can pre-register for pop-up testing online at COVID19USVI.com/testing. I repeat that, COVID19USVI.com/testing. This week's testing sites are St. Thomas at Home Depot, Tuesday, April 20th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. St. Thomas at Fort Christian Parking Lot, Thursday, April 22nd from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. St. Croix at the Cannegator Rec Center, Tuesday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. St. Croix at Bodo Park, Thursday, April 22nd from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. St. John at the VI Port Authority, Gravel Yard, Wednesday, April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Testing is readily available to everyone, and especially those who suspect they may be sick or may have been exposed. Ultimately, our goal is to prevent hospitalizations and deaths. Sadly, as the governor said, we did report our 27 deaths related to COVID-19 in the Virgin Islands. For those who have unfortunately lost a loved one due to COVID-19, FEMA has established a relief program to ease the burden of your families. Last week, FEMA began processing applications for funeral assistance. FEMA is providing financial assistance for COVID-19 related funeral expenses incurred after January 20th, 2020. Under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021 and the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Applicants must apply by calling 844-684-6333. 844-684-6333. From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Multilingual services are available. FEMA has never delivered funeral assistance on this scale before, so take time to develop and streamline the processes and tools to make this assistance efficient and effective for everyone they have. The call center is a national call center and has been receiving thousands of calls, which has caused some technical issues. Some applicants are reaching operators, while others are receiving a busy signal. We ask that applicants be patient as FEMA works to correct these issues and that callers have all their important documents ready when they call to apply. Please know there is no deadline to apply, and applicants will have the ability to open a case. FEMA will not rush through calls because they intend to make sure that every applicant gets their questions answered and receives the help they need to apply. To be eligible for funeral assistance, applicants must meet these following conditions. The death must have occurred in the United States. The applicant must be a U.S. citizen, non-citizen national, or qualified alien who incurred funeral expenses after January 20th, 2020. The death certificate must indicate the death was attributed to COVID-19. There is no requirement for the deceased person to have been a U.S. citizen, non-citizen national, or qualified alien. For fastest services, after you have called to apply, submit documentation online through disasterassistance.gov, or by faxing 855-261-3452. 855-261-3452. Documents may be also mailed to COVID-19 Funeral Assistance, P.O. Box 10,001, Hyattsville, Maryland 20782. We will make sure that it's on our website along with Vitima's website. Applicants can also visit FEMA.gov/funeral-assistance/FAQ. Information is provided in several languages, both by telephone and by the website. For local assistance with death certificates, please contact the Office of Vital Records and Statistics, and we've made it easier for you by just giving you a cell phone. 340-474-9749. 340-474-9749, and you will be speaking to Director Lorraine Benjamin Matthew. On a brighter note, vaccination has been going well across the territory. So far, 34,265 first doses have been administered, and 23,149 second doses have been administered, for a total of 57,404 total doses or shots in arms. Remember the governor's goal of 50,000 unique individuals by July 1st, 2021. We are 15,735 first doses away from meeting his goal. The purpose of the goal is to decrease hospitalization and to save lives. Let's do our part to get back to normal and enjoy local events. The governor will tell you all about the fetes that you can have when I'm finished. Just a reminder, everyone aged 16 and over is eligible for COVID-19 vaccines. There are no barriers to getting vaccinated. There are accommodations being made for seniors and individuals with disabilities, and being undocumented should not stop you from seeking the vaccine. If you are interested in scheduling an appointment to get vaccinated, please call 340-777-8227 or visit us online, where you can also schedule your own appointment at covid19usvi.com/vaccines. Important notice. On May 10th, the Community Vaccination Centers, or CVCs, will be relocated from both UVI campuses. St. Croix CVC will be relocating to the Nissan building in Christiansted, and in St. Thomas to the Community Health Clinic on the second floor of the Roy Lichtensteiner Hospital Medical Center. We are forever grateful to Dr. Hall and his staff for the use of the Sports and Fitness Center and the Great Hall. We look forward to serving you, though, the public, at our new sites. Travel. Anyone traveling to the United States Virgin Islands must adhere to the travel requirements listed on USVIupdate.com. All travelers leaving the United States Virgin Islands who are returning to the territory must take a COVID-19 test within 5 days of their return to their destination. Travelers must use the travel portal at USVItravelportal.com to upload a negative COVID test or positive antibody test result. You do have the option of taking an antibody test within 4 months prior to travel and uploading a positive antibody to the travel portal before returning to the territory. Airlines may prohibit travelers from checking in and boarding aircrafts to return to the territory if the process is not followed. Visit USVIupdate.com for more information. It is illegal to alter test results or upload fraudulent test results to the USVI travel portal. The portal is in place to safeguard our community and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 within a territory. Thank you to everyone who has followed and forwarded our guidelines and travel requirements. It takes all of us to end this pandemic. And like I always say, we teach you so that you in turn can teach others. To keep up with the latest information, please visit the United States Virgin Islands Department of Health Facebook page or our website, www.covid19usvi.com, and for COVID-19 health information, alerts, text COVID-19 USVI to 888-777. That was a mouthful today, Governor, so thank you.
It certainly is, but good information, just the same, Commissioner. Thank you. With 51 active cases territory-wide, I think it's safe to say that we are making great and steady progress as a community in our fight against the pandemic. But while we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, we are not there yet, not by a long shot. The virus, as we tragically saw with the loss of the 27th Virgin Islander last week, is still very deadly and very serious. And our best shot at protecting ourselves and our loved ones and our community is to take the vaccine. Everywhere I go, I ask people, and I think it's about 50-50 now in the community, but more people need to come and take this vaccine. I'm encouraged by the progress thus far to achieve this herd immunity, and I promised several weeks ago that we will look into what kind of restrictions we can safely remove as we move forward with our vaccine strategy. The closer we get to 50, the more we can release. I want to vet just as bad as you do, so especially my young people, 15,000 strong, come out and get these vaccines so we can get to 50. But as a show of good faith, I too want to make sure that we're doing things to encourage people and show that we're not unreasonable. And we do these things with bated breath because when you look at Puerto Rico, You see that they're upping their restrictions in the United States. Michigan, they're going through a rough time now. India is shut down their country. There are a lot of places that are going through it, and we're not. And we want to keep this good trend that we're on to now. And I don't want to mess up economically, the wins that we're getting there. But I'm pleased to announce that effective Friday, April 23rd, we are lifting the beach curfew. So I'll say that again. We're lifting the beach curfew as of Friday. No longer will you have to leave the beach at 5 p.m. on weekends and holidays. Now, it's up to you. We got to police ourselves, and we got to know how we want to act when we're on the beach. So if it doesn't go well this weekend, then we'll have to relook at the beach curfew again. Please, this is the first attempt for right now. No grilling, no DJs, none all of that. You stay on the beach, the sun goes down, it's fine. Just try to hold it down a little bit so we can keep the vaccine to a limit. If we get to 40,000, I could release and let you guys have the parties and the grills. Summer is coming. I know everybody want to get out on the beach and have a good time. But we need the vaccine number. So we are about 15,000 away from where we want to be. So make sure when you're on the beach, please try your best to socially distance, especially when people you don't know and you don't know where they've been. Stay close to your family and don't mass gather. You know, when you see crowds amassing, kind of find other places to go. Similarly, I've gotten a lot of calls from the Hotel and Restaurant Association. Lisa, yes, in response to your request, restaurants can now move their tables 4 feet apart. I think we've been doing really good there, and we just want to make sure we keep everybody safe and allow our restaurants to take advantage of this economic boom that we're going through with the tourists and get more people in there for their appointments. We see it now as a lower threat to the transmission of the infection, so we're going to allow for that. We still don't think that bar activity and having people standing at the bar should be allowed yet. Of course, we'll keep looking at that. I've seen as I go across the territory, I'm seeing that people now have tables attached to their bars, which is fine. Try to make use of your space. But it also allows us now not to have to be as everywhere in terms of our law enforcement and restrictions on people. Please, I'm really appealing to you, the public, just use good judgment and restraint so that we could continue to keep our community safe from this virus. And please, don't try to beat the system. We are good at finding people who are producing fake sheets and putting them up into the portal. It's a felony. That means that you're going to be an ex-convict for your entire life. Think about it. It's not worth it. There are enough COVID tests in the States, wherever you're going, for you to make good and get your test done, because if you don't and you get convicted of that, that's going to be on your record for life. Just continue to do what you can in order to keep you and your family and our community safe. More good news for us. I just want to let people know the rental assistance program is still out there. If you need rental assistance or you need some help with your utility bill as a result of COVID, and you know, we're keeping it real, not my rule, the federal government rule. You can't spend all the unemployment and then don't pay your rent and expect them to pay it for you. So make sure that you're taking care of your business when you're getting these monies that the federal government, and don't try to cheat the system. Trust me, they're going to come back, you're going to get audited, and you're going to be in big trouble. So we want to make sure that the people who really need the program get the help they need, get their rent paid, get your utility paid. You can reach out to vihfa.gov/ERAP, or just Google ERAP Virgin Islands. It should come up, and I'll get you that. 24432 or 777-4432 for more information. And homeowners, we haven't forgotten you as well. We want to make sure we bring in as much relief of financial burden to everyone in the Virgin Islands and their families, because we know COVID-19 is wreaking havoc on you economically. We were successful in securing $8.5 million now from the U.S. Department of Treasury in order for you to help you pay your mortgage if you've fallen behind due to COVID. You've lost your job, you've lost your business enterprise. We want to make sure we give that assistance to Virgin Islands homeowners. I know that people are hurting, so we're going to try to get it to you as quickly as possible. We're going to work with the banks to make sure that people can get their mortgage paid up to date. You work hard to get your homes, and I know you want to keep them. But remember, they're not our rules, they're the federal government rules as to who qualifies and who doesn't. So stay tuned. You'll be getting more information from the Housing Finance Authority, who's administering this program, and we'll have more information for you presently. As a rule, it will generally follow the rental program. So when you're looking at those rental programs and what they have to qualify for, you will be in the same shape as well. In non-COVID related news, I am pleased to have joining us today Ms. Bosedi Bruce. Ms. Bruce is a native daughter of the Virgin Islands and from the island of St. John, recently returning home. When we talk about being able to get people back home to the Virgin Islands, she's coming back from Chicago, where she most recently served as the comptroller for the Echelon Property and Casualty Insurance Company. She's a graduate of Tuskegee University, where she earned a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting and hold a Master's in Business Administration from our University of the Virgin Islands. And I say our because I had the pleasure of first meeting Ms. Bruce when she was in grad school with me at the university, and recognized her extraordinary talent, ability to think, and her tenacity. She has more than 20 years in experience in accounting and finance and financial reporting structure, and I'm pleased to announce that she is our next nominee to serve as the next Commissioner of Finance. So I want to give you, Ms. Bruce, an opportunity to say, should I say, Commissioner nominee Bruce, it's just so much ease. Nominee Bruce to give a few words. Commissioner?
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bosede Adepeju Bruce. I'm excited and humbled that the Governor has chosen me to serve the Virgin Islands community as part of the Department of Finance. It is time for me to be home, and I'm honored to represent the St. John community that nurtured me. I'm looking forward to taking a deep dive in learning the department in and out and working with the staff. I look forward to a successful confirmation and a productive tenure. Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to her confirmation. Today she met with the staff at Finance, and after this she'll go down there and meet with the one in St. Croix, the staff in St. Croix, and we'll be moving through the legislatures, and we'll be getting her situated and getting her on the job as our Commissioner of Finance. Before I leave today, I've got a couple things I want to talk about. I want to address a significant piece of legislation that was heard by the Senate on Thursday. I have listened all weekend as the purpose of the firearm legislation has been misconstrued both in the Senate as well as in the media. There are several key aspects of that bill that were never discussed in any real detail whatsoever. The bill proposed language that required individuals to report the intention of bringing in a firearm at least 24 hours in advance of them getting on the plane and coming to the territory. This is a significant change from the law that currently has reliance on the honor policy that depends on individuals declaring their firearms only after they have already arrived in the territory. This is a gap in the existing law that criminals continue to take advantage of and to bring guns into the territory without declaring them. So let me explain this to you. If you go to Florida, you can purchase a firearm, go to any airline that's flying into the Virgin Islands, I won't put any in the spot, declare that firearms. I have 10 handguns in my suitcase, they're secured in a lockbox, and bring those firearms into the Virgin Islands. Perfectly legal. The airline is under no obligation and does not notify the Virgin Islands Police Department that you have 10 guns in your bag. When you get here, you're to report those guns immediately to the police department. So we found that it would be far more efficient that if we had 24-hour notice so the VI Police Department can meet you at the airport and then take the guns away from you, make sure they're properly bought and registered, and make sure that you are certified to carry a firearm in the Virgin Islands. If our bill is passed, it would be a felony for any firearms to arrive in the territory that have not been declared to the police department. Immediately, from the time you come off the plane, you've already committed a felony because you would have reported it before. It will allow law-abiding citizens will declare their weapons, and the assumption will be that failure to declare your firearms to the police department is an intentional criminal act. This allows for the law enforcement to utilize their limited resources proactively. Rather than having somebody sit at the airport all the time, we would know you're coming in and can send an officer to take your firearms. The bill also provides for safe storage of firearms in the home, and it increases penalties for failure to report in a timely fashion if your firearms are stolen or lost. So people have firearms that are registered that go missing, or they're just not looking for because wherever they're not using their firearm at the time. If that firearm is lost or stolen, it becomes a crime. You are responsible for that firearm until you turn it back into the police or destroy it in some way and make that notification known to police department. It also addresses reciprocity that came the focus of the conversation. So the firearm policy that we have on the books is so confusing and has so many loopholes. Reciprocity is one of them. It says that if a guest or a visitor is coming to the Virgin Islands, that they can bring a firearm registered in another state into the Virgin Islands and use that firearms. Now, you're supposed to report it to the police, but the law doesn't say so. Then the law is silent on how long are you a visitor, and it's also silent in saying, what's the difference between a visitor and a resident? Why are visitors afforded the opportunity for reciprocity? It also goes on to say that any state that has firearm regulations equal to or more than ours is allowed to bring that firearm to the Virgin Islands. So, lots of conversation on the floor, but on the end of the day, it's the administration attempt to clarify the process for bringing firearms into the territory legally and establishing as well what is the illegal move when you bring firearms into the territory. I always say it is not the job of the administration to write legislation. That's what the legislative body is elected for. We simply present laws that we think are in the best interest for the discussion. That's why it's called a hearing. If there are things that the legislature would like to change upon those laws, it would be prudent to address those things, which is their job, rather than berate the professionals that come before them to present the problem. So, a lot of different things that we are trying to do in this piece of legislation is to give the police the teeth and the tools to stop the illegal guns from coming in, as a mass of them come in through the airport and through our postal system. So we just got to make sure that we tighten down on this. If they want to do away with reciprocity from other states, it is their option to do it. Remember, the governor can't change the law. Only the legislature can. So if they don't want anybody to be able to bring firearms from anywhere and honor the licenses in the states, fine, proceed. They have every right to do so. The Senate and I share a common goal. We want to keep the people of the Virgin Islands safe. And I think that we can't do that unless we work together to address the gun violence and the stemming of illegal weapons coming into the territory. And there are a lot here already. All this in this bill provides, like I said, the tools for our law enforcement community to become effective in the fight against gun violence in the territory. None of these measures are arbitrary. They're all the result of continued and prolonged discussion and debate between my staff, professionals in VIPD and in the policy team, as well as in the National Guard. We just want to make sure that we are encouraging people to do the right thing when bringing in guns into the territory. And they separate people who are law-abiding citizens who are interested in firearms and those that utilize the firearms for illegal trades, selling and distribution, and helping the illegal criminals in our community. I also want to say this afternoon that I want to extend my deepest condolences on behalf of my family and that of the administration to the family and the friends in our community who are mourning the passing of Mr. Samuel Garnett, who all of us know affectionately as Old Timer. Old Timer is a great guy, popular radio show commentary, what you call a pundit was, and all of us knows him from calling into the stations, but he's actually a native of St. Kitts, and he came here in the 50s in search of a better opportunity for him and his family. He worked in various jobs in the territory, including more than 20 years at the Virgin Islands Bureau of Corrections, where he served in several roles to include Chief Correctional Officer in his more than 60 years in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Mr. Garnett fully immersed himself in our community and is most known by many, as I said, the popular radio voice behind the local talk shows, mostly on politics, but also upon gardening. He was never selfish with his sage political advice, and until shortly before his passing, remained a key voice in the discussion on how we move these islands forward. Yolanda and I extend our condolences and prayers to his wife, children, grandchildren during this time. A couple of other notes I want to add on this afternoon is, community, I love what you're doing. I love to see you out there walking, jogging, exercising, Zumbaing, crunching, doing it all. But on the roads, I just want to ask you to, as you drive along our territory's roads, our drivers, please, 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 please be careful. There are a lot of cyclists on our roads. Cycling is a big thing happening now. And, you know, just give the cyclists some space on the roads. I know most of us who cycle like to do so on the weekends, and I'm urging cyclists to do it either early in the morning to ease the oncoming traffic with the cycling that's going on. But drivers, please be considerate. One of those people you'll be honking and cursing at may be your governor. As I'm out there on both islands, St. Thomas and St. Croix, I don't like the traffic, so I go at 5 a.m., but sometimes I'm on the road at 6:30 as well. So just be kind to our cyclists out there on the road, be courteous. You'll get up a little bit, 5 minutes or 10 minutes earlier to get where you're going, so you don't have to run any of us off the road. I also want to say congratulations today to all those employees getting Government House, Employee of the Year all around, especially Government House employees, Delma, as well as John Gomes, who we love here at Government House. Congratulations. I'll take some comments and questions from the press now. Lasiba.
Hi, good afternoon. Lasiba Knight from the St. Gravis. How are we doing today?
Fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. So my first question is for you, Commissioner Encarnacion. Does the Department of Health have any plans to update their regulations for the travel portal, especially now with the uptick in vaccinations? Will people soon be able to travel with their vaccine card, or is that?
That's a good question.
Not
You sound like the governor.
Good question. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, so actually, yes, we're working on what we want to call a vaccine passport. We want to make sure that we have access, so we can actually start with our local individuals who've actually been vaccinated here, because we know we have access to their documentation. We want to make sure we have access nationally, and I have to tell you that DHHS and HRSA are trying to make that available so we can log in and know exactly who we have to make sure that we have individuals here within the territory that have that access so that we can validate, just like how we validate the test right now, and then we're working on it. Thank you.
And, so this is a plan that's in the works. What stage are we on with that? Because, we're doing pretty good with the vaccination, so if we could get less people uploading fake negatives.
I'll help her out. I called her last week about it, and there were several different approaches and a lot of different vaccination passports on the market. We want to make sure we get one that aligns with whatever the federal government we can do, so that our people don't have problems getting back into the country when they go to London or any place else. The other piece of that we were talking about is for our people who got vaccinated here, of coordinating that listing with the portal, so you won't have to take the test. You'll be listed as having both the vaccines 2 weeks after, and then you could just put up your name and you'll be able to travel free of fear.
Okay, thank you. And then you've been mentioning an economic boom, right? And so I'm wondering, can you list for me some of the drivers of the current economic boom? And then any, hard data that you have that speaks to, that's giving you the confidence to state that there is an economic boom?
So, I mean, the easiest one to speak to is our marine industry, because it's so evident around us. The moving of major charter lines like moorings to the Virgin Islands from Tortola. The other thing is the hotel occupancy rate, which on both islands is around 90% or higher. Our Airbnbs are full to capacity. The other indicator is the usage of rental cars. We're having a hard time now. It's a nationwide phenomenon, I heard, in terms of rental cars, because a lot of people sold off their fleet. Other indicators are last week on the cash report, I think we were up 25 million totally. I think we stand somewhere around 30 days cash in terms of collections. We're up 11% year over year. And last year, we still weren't affected by the COVID at this point. The tax day has been shifted from April to May, and we still continue to see solid cash coming into the Virgin Islands. And I'm not talking about federal cash. I'm just talking about Virgin Islanders paying their taxes. Of course, our overnight. I don't think we've ever had this much flights into St. Thomas. St. Croix, like I tell people, I see the chatter on social media. If we had more rooms to put people, there'd be more planes here. The restaurants are full. Merchants are doing really well. When I traverse the community, I always stop and talk to people about how their business is doing. And lastly, construction is up. Personal construction is up in the Virgin Islands. People are repairing their homes and building new homes. Our real estate market now, if you look at it, has taken considerable leaps upward. Where there is market, real estate is going for more on each one of these islands, as well as we are starting to do a lot of the repairs associated with recovery as more and more roof repairs come on, construction on roads, different things we're completing in the community are just driving a lot of currency into the island. So we hope to be on this. And the other thing is the outlook. Most of the hotels are booked through October. People can't find rooms to come in on any of the 4 islands here in the Virgin Islands. And we haven't even started to see cruise ships yet. And when we see that, we're going to really see a boost in our economy. And we expect to continue on this trajectory for the balance of this year and well into next year. We're in a good financial place. Even if it drops off a little bit, I still think with the $584 million that we've gotten from the federal government, we're just really in a sound financial place now in the Virgin Islands. We still got to fix GRS. WAPA is a little shaky, but we're in a good place.
Awesome. And then just one final question. You said that in constructing the bill, you spoke to the Virgin Islands National Guard, the Virgin Islands Police Department, and I'm just wondering, if we could get an idea of how criminals were using or abusing the former law, where people, do we have an idea of statistics of how many guns were coming in through airports and not being declared? Was it a major hole in our security system, or?
TSA has really been helpful in terms of identifying and taking weapons off of people at the airport. A lot of it they do silently. In our talks we have a really good relationship with our federal partners, and they tell us about some of the things that they happen. People shipping in weapons in pieces through the post office. That has been a trend. And then moving weapons in pieces through the airport. We've caught people doing it. We want to catch more. But this is a tighter way because the airlines refuse to cooperate and give us because you can't, if you get on the plane with a gun in your bag, they're going to catch you if you don't declare it. Those bags are marked. So it's a liability on their part by giving us the information. So we're implementing things now to make sure that we take care of us and know where those guns are located.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Lasiba. Hi, Allison.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My question is for Governor Bryan. You mentioned beach restrictions being lifted, as well as for restaurants being able to push the tables 4 feet apart now. If things continue to go well with vaccines and the numbers are low, what are the next set of restrictions that perhaps you and your administration is considering to be lifted? Are there some restrictions that you all are hearing from the public, more so than others, that you all are considering lifting if things continue to go well?
Well, the beach one was the biggest one that I heard people complaining about, why we have this beach restriction. And of course, I talk to people all the time. So the poker run last week was a litmus test. We did what we needed to do to keep people safe. We had 600 tests run on Saturday. We had 2 positives a week later. That's a good sign. We're not out of the woods yet. So now we're saying, okay, we can have these events and have it controlled. So the beach lifting was the first step, and the restaurant closing in. We want to make sure, we want to get to this 50,000. We're planning to have like a really big celebration, like FET-wise, having foreign as well as local bands come to the Virgin Islands, and there'll be vaccine-only events. We have one coming up on April 30th that's being sponsored by our Carnival, our Festivals Committee. But we want to do something even bigger for the public, but people got to get vaccinated in order for us to do this. The next one will probably be the 11 o'clock alcohol limit, and then the maximum persons will go away once we get to 50,000. I don't think the mask is ever going to go away, at least not for another year or so. I think that works really well. And we're going to still try to control what we do. The health commissioner and I work very closely together to take this slowly. And while, the thing I want people to recognize is we could do it if we didn't have anybody else coming in. What really scares us are the surges and what do you call them?
Variants.
The variants. We don't know. We haven't identified any of those as yet in the Virgin Islands. But we want to keep it that way. So we're not really worried about us, but we are in the business of welcoming people here. So we just want to make sure we keep ourselves safe.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Allison. Go ahead on the phone. Who is it, Richard? Ernest. Ernest, you have a question? He has a problem connecting. Ernest, you have a question? I'm not hearing from him, huh? I think that exhausts it. I just want to thank you, everybody, for your continued support, your work out there, keeping everybody safe, following the protocols. I know somebody's on the chat asking, when are we going to get the checks? We're still, listen, our IRB director went over and beyond and extended his deadline to make sure that people could get checks for the $600. He's making sure we get all those checks out, and then we're going to be sending out the $1,400. So we're still sending out $600 checks. If you haven't gotten yours, you're going to get one soon, and then we'll start sending out the $1,400. So that money is rolling out. It's not going anywhere. Just be a little patient. You'll get it. Other than that, Be safe, be sanitized. Love you. See you later.